You'll do, Priyanka?
ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति
You want to, or should I first do?
I can try.
All three verses, can you try?
Okay. कर्तुराज्ञया प्राप्यते फलम् कर्म किं परम् कर्म तज्जडम् वृत्तिमहोदधौ पतनकारणम् फलं शाश्वतम् गतिनिरोधकम् ईश्वरार्पितम् निश्चया कृतम् चित्तशोधकम् मुक्तिसाधकम्.
Excellent. Very good.
Thank you.
So we will continue from last class, and because the first verse is taking up a very important aspect of the topic related to creation, creator, there are a lot of confusion. There is a lot of confusion regarding what is the role of Ishvara and what is our role, my role. So I thought I'd take it as a pause because this question has come up also in different ways. If you take this verse that we saw last time and take the second line, and if you just think about the second line, Mali Siche So Khada, Ritu Aaye Phal Hoye. What is it that you get from the line? What is it that you infer? What is the understanding that comes from it? Mali Siche So Khada, Ritu Aaye Phal Hoye.
That we can keep doing little changes towards achieving something, but the final result will only come when Ishvara wants us to get the result.
Right? Not wants us, but when it's the right time for
When
us
it's
to
the
get
right
that
time.
result. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else anybody has to say? What is the sambandha between these two? If you just take the karma and phal ka sambandh, what is the relation between karma and phal? And if you see that, then karam and phal are definitely interlinked in the sense that there is a law that karma itself is going to give the result. Matlab, there is a law that karma will yield the result. It's infallible. फल अपने आप से कहीं से नहीं आता. फल का बीज होता है. सेब का बीज है, वो बीज सेब है. So phal by itself is a non-existent entity. Very important point. Phal by itself is non-existent. It's not there. It can only manifest because of the seed, and the seed is karma. So, karam seems to be a mandatory, and karam falls in the realm of purusharth. कर्म अपने आप से भी नहीं होता है. फल का संबंध कर्म से है. फल अपने आप से नहीं आता है, कर्म से आता है. कर्म भी अपने आप से नहीं होता है, कर्म को भी कोई करता है. तो एक्चुअली कर्मा इज अ पुरुषार्थ. So संबंध is really between purusharth and phal. So what is the संबंध between purusharth and phal? तो हो गया क्लियर. चलो, जितना फल अपने आप से नहीं आएगा, कर्म से आएगा. कर्म अपने आप से नहीं होगा, पुरुषार्थ में है, एफर्ट में है. So what effort will determine the phal? That clarity most of us have, and this is kind of an outline of a Purva Mimamsaka thinking. कि इसमें अब why do we need some other factor, like was it a god, or was it Ishvara, was it a karm phaldata, was it anything? Why do we need anything to be able to give some result? So if you see the realm, I'm just taking this yin and yang as a descriptive depiction, a visual depiction. Not that yin and yang means this, but I'm using that as a depiction to say karma purusharth itself brings into phalam, but that phalam is uncertain, is in the portfolio as if of Daivam. Grace word is more in the sense of anugraha. Means, if I go back to that Mali Siche So Ghada, means I sow a seed and I think my purusharth is over. मुझे एक फल चाहिए, मैंने बीज बो दिया और सोच लिया that now my purusharth is done. अब ऋतु आए, फल होए. When God will, I will get. Is it how you will get the fruit? No, absolutely. Your effort of 100 ghada, watering it up to 100 pots, 100 times effort. Having sown the seed is not a complete purusharth. That purusharth is to be followed by tending the seed. That purusharth is followed by taking care of the seed till you see that it is now fruiting, bringing up a fruit. That means the sambandha is very interlinked. Only after your 100 efforts, or modifying the sentence, till I have sustained an effort up to the point that the result is yielded, that is called purusharth. So what is the sambandha between Daivam and human being? Karma here in the sense of a human karma. What is the relation between the two? फल अपने आप से नहीं आएगा, that means Daivam can't work on its own. वो अपनी मर्जी से नहीं कुछ कर सकता. There is no free will that Daivam has. It can only work within the field of the generated seed. In other words, I have sown an apple seed. Law, governor, can only give me an apple fruit. It cannot give me an orange. So phal has to come in accordance with the purusharth. People ask this question, what is then the relation between destiny and free will? What is destined and what is free will? What is the role between the two? There's a lot of clarity if this relation is clear to a person. That 100 ghada seechna is my काम. After that is not my work. But if I only say put water for 60 ghada, okay, let me say 80 ghada, but it needed 100 ghada. And I got tired after 80 ghada. And I said, hota to kuch hai nahi, chodo. Nothing's happening, I'm only wasting. Let me do something else. This was all useless. This is all silly. I don't think this seed will sprout. This seed is bad. This is a bad seed. It will not come. I still don't know if it's a good seed or not because the result hasn't come. Mali siiche 100 ghada. That means only after the 100, only by doing my 100 efforts, means by my complete effort. Then what? Ritu aaye phal hoye. Ritu, change of season, is not dependent on my karma. Who will govern the change of the season? Who controls the change of the season? Because ये फल तो उस season में ही आएगा. So if I have mistimed my seed sowing, planting, if I have not watered it enough, tended it enough, if I have not saved it from infestations, if I have just ignored it saying अपने आप हो जाएगा, मेरा काम हो गया, मैंने तो कर दिया भैया जो करना था, मुझे बीज बोना था, मैंने बो दिया, अब भगवान के हाथ में है सब कुछ. वो दे तो अच्छा है, वो ना दे तो अच्छा है. Is that a correct thinking? If this is clear to a person, I personally feel this opens up a whole realm of, what people say, efficiency, blah, blah, whatever. I don't like to get into that aspect. It masters your equipment capacity to utilize it. How much should I persevere in an action? How much of an action is needed? Should I give it up before? Even if it needed 100 ghadas and I gave up at 99. Maybe that one less ghada means जो मुझे 100 घड़े के बाद फल मिलना था, वो 99 घड़े के बाद उतना कमी रह जाएगी फल में. The point है, small point or a big point, I don't know. Ritu aaye phal hoye. Who governs the season? My karma governs the season. This is the distinction of saying, if I can understand that thin line up to where my karma extends and what doesn't fall into the realm of my karma at all, that then becomes synchronous, a whole, interlinked. And it's a beautiful rhythmic cycle. An effort has to give you a result. It comes under the law. And that result will always be only beneficial or good, even if it doesn't appear so. If it doesn't come out to be good, it only goes back to say 100 ghadas. There was a deficiency in the 100 ghada. My watering of the 100 ghada. Because rest of it is related to another cycle, which doesn't fall into me. Change of a season cycle doesn't fall into my realm. So my phal will come at a proper time when it is to manifest. At the time when it is right, mature enough to manifest. Till then, what can I do? I can only sustain karma. And then, at the right time, the fruit comes. This is a sambandha. What is your free will? Your free will is kartum shakyam, akartum shakyam, anyatha va kartum shakyam. I can do 100 ghada watering, and pardon my language. I can not do 100 ghada watering, and I can do something else. I will do 60 ghada watering. Anyatha. Or I can delegate it to someone. Aap kar lo. Or I can just sow another seed. Anyatha. I can do anything else. That is the freedom I have. It's a free will I have. In what? In my present capacity to do karma, which is already determined by my past, which is destiny. What has presented to me today is because of my past. That is my limitation, that is my capacity. इससे ज़्यादा नहीं कर सकती मैं. If I have never made a pot ever in my life and I start making a pot today, I can't hold a pottery exhibition in a week's time. Why? Because I've never done it in the past. But if I start today, in 5 years' time, I can have a pottery exhibition. So today, what am I? I'm limited in my capacity by my past effort. My past effort, I put in a lot of effort for say singing. So what am I today? I can hold a concert, but I can't do a pottery exhibition. Today, what I can do, what is my capacity, what is my inclination, what is my limitation to do, all that is within my karma phal from past. That's called destiny. It's already ordained now. But everything is not in destiny yet. It's not stamped that tomorrow what has to come is also still a part of your destiny today. What tomorrow has to come can completely be altered by what is done today. So there is a sambandha, absolutely inseparable, as if, between karma and phal, relating it to karta. That karta is the individual, the jiva, and this jiva is absolutely related to Ishvara in that sense. You get connected. See, the minute phal, if you see the cycle here, there is a pointer, I don't know how to use it. But if you see the cycle here, the minute my karma is coming to an end, it has already started coming into the stage of phal. That Daivi factor has already started playing. This Daivi factor is already playing into my present karma, my present Purusharth. That means I'm already touching. The example I gave, if you place a flower on a wave, who's received it? I've already touched it. The realm of karma is pratyaksham. I can see it. But the minute it starts going into the stage of phalam, it starts to become invisible because that's not my jurisdiction now. The entire realm of karma is visible. What karta can do associated with the body, the individual can do in association with the body, dikta hai. It's perceptible. It's tangible. It's contactable. I can plan the sets of karma. I can plan the karanam, the means I need. I can see how much, how less. I can adjust. I have a lot of free will with reference to karma. It's pratyaksham. I can see it. But what I can't see is कि इस कर्म को मैं जैसे जैसे कर रही हूं, इसका क्या होने वाला है? It won't disappear into nothing. Can it disappear into nothing? My standard example has been for years now, and I can't see anything more replaceable to my sense. If there is a dirty table, the table is dirty. My first question, can I leave it on Daivi factor that the table should get clean? And it's a limited example, so don't think that कोई आसपास है, and this is where we confuse ourselves. We think कि नहीं हो सकता है, भगवान will send some person जो कर देगा. And कभी कभी हो जाता है कि कोई आ भी जाता है. So it starts confirming our stupid idea. सी भगवान ने इस इंसान को भेजा था ना, इसलिए हो गया. Sometimes it may work, sometimes निमित्त भी आते हैं, I'm not saying, but stick to the context of the example. It's a very limited example. Idea is to convey that if I see a dirty table and I fold my hands like that and I pray, prayer is my karma. भगवान टेबल साफ कर दो, भगवान टेबल साफ हो जाए नहीं है, भगवान को थोड़ी कह सकते हैं करने को, भगवान टेबल साफ हो जाए. जब मैं आंख खोलू ना तब टेबल साफ होना चाहिए. I'll give you more time, Bhagwan, because I know I may not have done good enough, so maybe so I will keep my eyes closed for a longer period of time. I will not open but when I open, see, I have faith in you, I have trust in you, I believe in you, you can't disappoint me, I'm your bhakta, so please, please, please uphold my bhakti for you, and when I open my eyes, the table should be clean. Is that right? Will it happen? So what happens to all that thinking people? पता नहीं भगवान है भी कि नहीं. Maybe I'm a very पापात्मा. मैंने बहुत पाप किया होगा, इसलिए भगवान did not give me the result. This karma realm, if it's not understood, most of our nation has gone here, there, everywhere, because the concept has got extremely muddled, whereas it's a very simple thing. The causation is all mixed up in mind because it's lack of correct thinking and education. If you just pray and say भगवान कर दो, टेबल साफ नहीं होगा, and you can wait in time. कोई तुम पे दया खा के कर देगा, वो अलग बात है. Maybe that's भगवान sent. Doesn't worry. That also, but sticking to it. On its own, the table is not going to get cleaned. That means now what? The phal of seeing the table clean. When I started seeing it dirty. Table was dirty. So what did I do? I had a choice. I can clean it now. I can clean it later. I will not clean it. I will leave it on Bhagwan to clean it. Or I will see which equipment I need. Should I use coolant? Should I just use a duster? All these choices start happening because I have an end in sight. And the end is I see a dirty table. Now, as I start to clean the table, immediately my action is seeing something. यहां मैं साफ कर रही हूं और वहां मुझे टेबल साफ दिख रहा है. It seems to be a seen result. फल दृष्ट है. But सब कर्म जो हम करते हैं, especially at the level of the subtle thought, जो हमें भी दृष्ट नहीं है, our intention and a whole bundle of our motivations, our rag dvesh, our ahankar, our vague thinking, non-thinking or incorrect thinking or pockets of right thinking. There are so many unseen things that are also prompted in the action. They are also there in my action, which I have no sight of. I don't know most of the motivations why I work. I can figure some out, but I have no certainty if I can figure every motivation out. The minute there is this intercycling, कि जहां कर्म हो रहा है, ये जा कहां रहा है? All the karmas that we are doing. I start karma say with a very noble intention. Absolutely purified mind, bade saalon ki tapas karke, and I have removed all unwanted thoughts and before I start a noble task. I, from my side, took all care that I can take care of. And because I took care, I know how much I took care. In spite of it, as I'm taking care, it is like saw ghada. As the action keeps happening, visualize this. Where is it disappearing? कर्म कहाँ disappear हो रहा है? Is it disappearing? It's only becoming invisible. That invisible aspect of it, which is now going to come at the right time. When right time? Mixed with all other ingredients that I have generated. Going into it. This phala, governed by Daivam, is the fructification aspect of it. Ritu aaye, phal hoy. At the right season, at the right time, when it is right, it will come. Provided 100 ghadas have gone through of watering. This sambandha, grace is a very, very connoted word with other religions. But English, we don't have an equivalent. Take it as, we call it only anugraha. Must understand the aspect of anugraha. I'm taking this in a little detail because there were a couple of questions and I have mixed them up because I can't take them individually, in the sense it's not. So I am covering the whole topic and I'm hoping that many others will not ask it but still have that doubt will also get clear here. Grace aspect of it, don't confuse it with Bhagwan's will, and like some other religions may mention grace as. In the Vedic context, grace is a translated word for anugraha. And what is anugraha? Following. Anu means that which follows. What follows? What follows? The movement. The movement of karma. What follows the movement of karma is phal. That has to come at the right time and not which time. There is a whole other lot of thoughts around it which comes in different contexts. I'll take them up as and when they come, if they come. But for now, I think this much should be adequate to clear the mind. To leave everything on Bhagwan is a fatalistic attitude. To leave everything on God without your Purusharth is not recommended by the Shastra. Shastra doesn't weaken a person. Shastra has never said, Mujh pe sab. When Bhagwan also says, leave it on me, he says, leave it on me after having done what you're supposed to do. So, that aspect of karma phalam, my point here was to see if anyone can, I don't know if I went too much into the example format, but if you have been able to see, the point I want to repeat is, and follow that, कर्म करते करते कहीं जा रहा है ना वो. That goes out of my perception. Table is still in my perception, effort is in my perception, phal is in my perception. But so many, now supposing I initiate taking a class, it's a karma, suppose. Now, what is going to be the phal of it? Can I see it now? What will happen? Means 100 ghada, 100 classes at least. Ritu aaye, phal hoye. Whenever the time will be right. But every class is already getting in, it's a karma done. The minute it finishes, it's gone into something, no? Now it's not in my sight. Do you see the connection of what is in my sight and what is not in my sight? Because that's important. That is how this circle comes into play. जहां मेरा कर्म खत्म होता है, वहीं पे ही it goes into an adrishta form, not a non-existent form. It's not non-existent. It's not disappeared. It's not there. It is just not there in my sight. Because my sight is conditioned and limited by my organs, by my body, and limited by my past capacity. But everything I am doing is Saghada. And all checking can happen only at the realm of Purusharth. All checking can happen at the realm of Purusharth. The minute this goes, जैसे जैसे हो रहा है, and you just know it is not disappearing, it's just becoming invisible. It is being received somewhere. It's held somewhere. I don't know. I can't see it. I will never see it. The limitation of my capacity, of my body, the body. I cannot see where is karma held. I means human being doesn't have the upadhi, the faculty to discern the end of karma. Logically, scientifically speaking now. That name is called Daivam Ishvara. Accepting this fact is logical, is scientific. Is it not true? Is it not in our experience that the minute I do certain karmas, I don't know where are these karmas going? हम बस करते रहते हैं. कुछ लोग कहते हैं ना, हम सारी जिंदगी कुछ करते रहे, कुछ नहीं मिला. या हम कहें, कुछ लोग कहते हैं मैंने कुछ किया ही नहीं, मुझे तो कितना कुछ मिल गया. I did nothing. You say for some people, Sara, all our life we have seen this person just sitting idle, doing nothing, throwing around. So maybe I get a doubt. Maybe I should also not work so hard. Because that person seems to be, maybe that's the right formula to life. Maybe that is the right way to get things. Let's not do anything. So, concluding it now, and I hope it clarifies to anyone. And if you're not, then you can still comment and or ask, and I'll take it up a little more. But for now, kartuhu agnyaya. This is a correct context to bring it up. That's why I'm elaborating a little more. When we say agnya of kartuhu, that creator, what is the need of that creator? A simple logic. Ritu aaye fal hoye. Mere karam se ritu nahi aa raha. It's not an ingredient of my karma. The change of season is not an ingredient of my karma. That factor, change of season, there is a karta of that. There's a controller of that, who keeps the seasons flowing, etc. That is Daivam. And how am I interlinked? I am completely connected at every point, whether I know it or not. And that he is going to talk of in the third verse. But before that, Kartuhu Agnyaya Prapyate Phalam. Is this a little more clearer than before? Yeah. So, because of my capacity only up to doing karma, and everything becomes invisible after that, that acceptance that my control is no more after this, what I can't see, I posit that the one who's controlling the whole larger macrocosmic srishti, this must be connected, because when the phal again comes to me, it becomes pratyaksha. जब फल मैनिफेस्ट हो जाता है तो फिर से अब प्रत्यक्ष हो गया. एप्पल जब तक सीड चर्न हो रही है, मुझे नहीं दिख रहा है. That's why we often give the example. Supposing I become extremely curious about the nature of seed. How does it give fruit? So what do? I do not sow it, but I bring it under my microscope. I want to know how this seed brings up a fruit. So I bring it under a microscope and then I start dissecting it. It's in the seed that the apple is hidden. and I dissect the seed and I sow it then, pieces, seed to hai. Do I get apple? What is that effort? Is that the right effort? I should have examined एक एक को अलग करो, seed को, तो इसके अंदर ही है apple. That was not the right effort. The nature of seed is that it needs planting, it needs nurturing, and it needs to be left for it to grow. That is effort. Counter effort would be, what would be the counter effort? मैंने बीज तो बो दिया, but what is the counter effort?
Water it.
I didn't water it. Inaction. After that, it's inaction. There can be counter efforts that I do. Self-canceling efforts that when I sow, I do that all the time. I bring a plant and I think I'll take great care. After a few months, you know. So what happens now? I had a very good idea, but then if I didn't tend it, now what did I do? Halfway I stopped before it gave a flower, etc., etc. So it's a fantastic science, and you know why it empowers a person when you get the right understanding of karma and its relation with phal and where that jurisdiction falls. Daivi is not to be taken as a god sitting somewhere. It is an absolute acceptance of a fact that there is an invisibility of my karam. I cannot perceive beyond this. That invisibility has to be given a name because it becomes visible again after some time as a phal. जब आता है, जैसा भी आया उसके बाद, उसके बीच में कैसे हुआ, क्या हुआ, I can't see. Whether the seed is getting rotted there, it is getting mixed with other seeds, whether it's becoming a hybrid fruit, I don't know what's happening. Because it can all happen now. 2 seeds, we mixed it up under. The minute I stopped that effort, it has gone, and now I don't know what all it's mixing with. What all are my past karmas? What are all is happening? How is it all getting interrelated to each other? Because certain is karma will give phal. This is inescapable. You cannot escape this law. Every karma generated at the level of body, mind, intention, oral, spoken, each has its own impact. The minute it is said, last time I told you, just say, you are an idiot. Call me an idiot and see what happens to me. And you call me all nice flowery words and see what happens. Has that word come to me? Or is it that the minute you said it, it's gone into the invisible? You see the relation? The minute you utter a word idiot, you think you're calling the other person idiot. You think you are a very wise person and बहुत अकल है तुम में, तुम समझदार हो, वो बुद्धू है, वो बुद्धू है, बुद्धू, बस कुछ नहीं समझते वो, तो वो idiot है. And you think you are being very nice by saying, pointing to the person, कुछ, you think you're right. But what really happened? The minute you said idiot, the word finished, mixed with all this intentional thinking behind. Whether your intentional thinking is right or wrong, also Bhagwan only knows. Means it's an adrishtam to you. From a totality perspective, you think you're doing right. But from another perspective, no. It could be wrong for them. This is a very interesting thing. Most of our noble intentions, I discovered much later in life. I thought I was being extremely noble and kind. And after years, I realized, oh my God, it doesn't work like this. My idea that I am noble, thank God, at least I know, I think like this, so let Bhagwan. But it's not necessary that it's being read like that. So what is happening? My job is only up to this point. I can only take care up to this point. The minute I have said this word, all this from behind me, which is coming from God knows how many intermixtures of my own ideas and thoughts, and I say idiot. The minute I said the word idiot, I ended at the takar. Sanskrit, sorry. The minute I ended at takar, karma's finished. You think the other person's received it. There were sound waves, kaan mein pad gaye, sun liya. But what happened? Now you see in this diagram, it started from this small black idiot, ended at this point. What has happened to it now? This has now gone into invisible, out of your perception. What is going to get? And something will come back. Surely it comes back. I'm not idiot, you are idiot. Instantly it came back. I'm not an idiot, you are an idiot. And then Klesh. Now we are fighting on who's a greater idiot. This is fantastic if one begins to observe it. And then starts the factor where you are able to very comfortably be consistent in your action, Purusharth, and where it becomes such relaxation from within. Because you just know it's the why stress over a फल जो आपके हाथ में ही नहीं है, आप कुछ कर ही नहीं सकते. So you have a whole lot of inner peace and relaxation, and at all times you are connected to Daivam. That unseen is a part of your calculation. It's a part of your assessment. It's a part you've considered. That's the fifth factor. That it is going to go into this imperceptible state, and what is going to come out of it, I do not know. It's an acceptance. It's a recognition. So, this is the phala and the daiva factor connected to karma and purushartha. Now you see this again. I'm only bringing this up that in case if someone sustains up to the Gita class, then you will see in the third chapter, karma is going to be called as a pivotal factor in a human life, connecting you to totality. Karam or phal, jiva or सृष्टि जो कनेक्ट करती है हर चीज को, वो कर्म है. And that is called yajna. It's not just a ritual part of it. Ritual is also yajna. But what is meaning is all this behind. I don't know how much gets decoded in yourselves as you hear this, but the meaning of karma and yajna would mean that up to a point I have a visibility about it, and then it goes into an invisible aspect that I have no control over. That is called, some name it has to be called. If you didn't call it Daivam, you could have called it, actually Daivam is Vedam from the other side. Ved is Dev and Ved. So, but call it some other name. I don't know. Come up with some name. Call it some name. Give me some name. If you don't want to call it Daivam, give me another name. Don't call it any of the known names. Something unknown. Some other new name.
Can we call it fate?
That's also known to us. See, we have ideas about it. So I want to completely create a new word. instead of Daivam, supposing I call it Hanji? Uh, okay, this is very stupid, but I call it Frame. What is that? That's nice. Gaga Booga. Okay. Okay. Gaga Booga. I call it Gaga Booga. And let that invisible part is called Gaga Booga. If you call it Gaga Booga, 100 years down the line, will we all not ask, what is Gaga Booga? That's how Daivam Ved started coming as a mystical factor. Vedas have not introduced it like a mystical factor. They have to give it some name to depict that invisible aspect of your karma and the timing of it, of its return. In between कुछ हो रहा है जो आपको कभी नहीं दिखेगा. In the Gita, Krishna says, Karmana Gahano Gatihi. The Gati of karma is very deep, O Arjuna. Don't try to bother to figure it out. Only I can see it, he says. It's that interlinked and it's that intermixed with so many, and because we go into past janmas, etc. So it's a whole lot of thing together, which is not even important. The only thing to be understood is, if you can understand this at the right time in your life, when you are an active person, a young person, that's how this knowledge used to be given very early in life. At that time, you understand that I have no excuse from my karma. And I cannot falsely depend on an unseen factor and just solely depend on it. So then will prayers work? Yes, they work. How? They start becoming a part of your karma generation. Prayer is a karma. So the integrity of a karma is all based upon many factors. But what comes to you and your control over it, that's important. Nothing else is. If you take care of that, the law is, it can never go wrong. अगर एप्पल सीड बोया है और टेक केयर किया है, अब ऋतु तो आपके हाथ में है नहीं. हो गया अगर क्लाइमेट चेंज और बेवजह बारिश आ गई और फल पूरी की पूरी नष्ट हो गई, it's not in your hand. What can you do? You can't control that. If you wanted the ritu to come at the right time, you should have taken care of your human wastage. You should have taken care of the fact that you did not deforest. You should have taken care of the fact that you did not evolve the industrial evolution. You did not multiply it at such a fast pace that you left nature behind. Nature works very slow. Human beings could have progressed at a lesser speed. We would have caused less destruction around. Now that is a macrocosmic human, a totality human effort. And do we think it's not going to come back? Is it going to disappear like that? There will be repercussions. And therefore, this wisdom of integrating your capacities, integrating it with life, purpose, things around, society, and in 3rd chapter he says, the health of creation depends upon yajna, that karma word. I'm introducing a little Gita now because I don't know how much of you are really interested in it, but if we ever do it, whenever, then all this will be a carry forward. So that karma, now you see here, as this diagram said before, this void is jivatvam. Creates a desire. A desire makes me do karma. I acquire means. All this was in the realm of karta. the diagram that I draw here. And after that, I get a phal in time. Where exactly it is to mature? Because karma is finite. It's limited in time and space. Its fructification is also in time and space. So that factor of time and space, kahan pe kab ye karm phal milega mujhe, that is not seen by me. It is limited in time and space, and that phalam prapti, whether I get according to what I thought I should get, I'll be happy. But then again, that happiness is transient, it is limited, it is not as happy I thought as it would have made me. थोड़ी सी कमी रह गई. It lasted for very short time or something or the other. Or it could be that I did not get the phal the way I wanted, so I'm anyway unhappy. So the void remains, and that cycle continues. So karma, now second verse, Ramana is pointing this out. He says this cycle of karma has a problem in it. While it has the capacity to empower us, why is the whole mankind today saying we are very evolved? Human beings have become very evolved. We are the prime species, Look at our advancement in the last 100, 200 years. And we are planning to go and stay in Mars, in brackets, after destroying Earth. Once we've destroyed Earth, we are already finding, and that's how intelligent beings we are. We are trying to find water on other planets, so that water is the source of life. If there will be water there, there will be life there, so that we can harness. Once we have destroyed Earth, we will go to. So much planning gets done. Here, Shastra says, and therefore Ramana says, Kriti mahodadhau patana karanam phalam ashashvatam gati nirodhakam. He says this cycle that we just saw in the diagram, which rests on karma, and I will get fulfilled and I will get happy then, and all this. This cycle is Maha Udati. It's a vast ocean. The nature of karma is it's like a vast ocean. That is one point made. Second point made is it is patana karanam. ये कारण है पतन का. Remaining in the cycle of karma, what does a Purva Mimamsaka or the Karmatas or say ourselves believing in karmas to be everything? What do we think? We think karma itself is giving us the fruit. We don't need Ishvara. ईश्वर के आज के बहुत लोग कहते हैं ना, there's a whole lot of humanity moving through the stage of so-called intellectual development, becoming atheists. The vast majority of the Western world has, for them it is okay because I don't know their beliefs. But in Vedic system, God उस किस्म का है ही नहीं जो तुम मानते हो, which is believed in the other systems. So don't confuse that God with the God over here. This God is an ordainer. In fact, he serves you. Our God serves us. His job is to give us the phal. So who's more important? Etc. Okay? If you get the point that I'm trying to make. But this realm of karma is a vast ocean. And because it's so vast an ocean, remaining in that cycle of what we just did, this cycle is endless. And every time I depend on a void to be filled on the basis of my karma alone, I am increasing the karta, I am strengthening the karta buddhi and the bhokta buddhi. That means I am strengthening my perception of me being a limited, finite, helpless, useless probably most of the times, or limited and little good for something. I don't want to add good for nothing. I'm a little good for little something. But this is me, and then I have a life full of struggles, and that's a fact. Whose life has not got struggles? It's silly to think there will be ever a life which doesn't have struggles. Human beings still have made an easy life being an animal. You just have to look around all animals. Is it easy to be a life free of struggles? That's unrealistic. So what is patana karanam? Patan ka karan hai means this strengthening of my idea that I am this limited being. यही मुझे गिराता रहता है मेरी नजरों में. Because I'm always assessing myself according to my outcomes. If my outcome came good, yay. If my outcome was not good, don't know what I did wrong. Maybe I should have put more puja to Bhagwan. Maybe I should have done more vrat. Maybe I should have done this. Maybe I am not so. Ultimate ending is I am not so good a person. Maybe I was really deserving this failure. Ooh. Do you make the connections that I'm trying to say? So what really happens is, if one starts to believe that this cycle is adequate in life, without bringing the Ishvara factor, then that is Patan Karanam. It keeps you in a cycle first. Karta Buddhi ko hi strengthen karegi, Karta Bhokta Buddhi. Because what you will water is what will grow. You water a certain thought pattern, it will grow. So if you believe yourself to be only dependable on your karma, and that alone is the source of your happiness, then certainly you are going to strengthen that. Patana, you will be remaining in this cycle, and we all know that. Why are we tired of struggles by the time we reach our mid ages? Because it's exhausting to hold a karma cycle. Now, when you start, anyone now, doesn't matter, when you start cooking, if you like to cook, when you were young and if you were enthusiastic about, what was your enthusiasm about cooking at that point? I never thought I'd get tired of it. It's nourishment for the body, even with right attitudes. After some years, what does it become? Ooh, it's exhausting to hold karma. It's just exhausting to hold a cycle. Point one, it's just exhausting. Patana karanam. Slowly, your quality of action drops. Slowly, there is a change that happens, etc., etc. More important a reason he gives is phalam ashashvatam. Fruits are transient. They are not permanent. So whatever you do is generating a fruit. If you have generated a fruit, that means it came in time. And if it has come in time, means it is going to also go in time. So it's time dependent. It's ashashvatam. It is not eternal. Mimamsaka thinking said, karma is eternal. Vedas are eternal. Moksha is eternal. Swarg is supposed to be one aspect which just gives you niratishaya sukham. Therefore, moksha swargam, generated by karma. That means whatever I depend on fruits to give me, if in today's world, if I translate it, I work very hard, I become a successful person, I have money, I have a big house, I have everything that's desired by a common man who thinks that I'll get freed of struggle if I have all this. That person has all that. Is he freed? That's it. Not only is he not freed, I have often given this example. I know this is going into public domain now, but I will continue giving that example as a education. Rajesh Khanna was supposed to be superstar, the first superstar, I believe. His whole experience of life as a superstar, he's a superstar. What more can anybody think of? He's everything there. But last days of his life, find it out. Palam ashashvatam. It didn't last. Superstardom did not last. You thought by my effort I will become he wouldn't want to become, I'll become successful. If I become successful, why do I want to become successful? Because I'll become freed of my struggles. Having become freed of struggle, did you become free? And that freedom is going to be, even if freedom of struggle, how short-lived is that freedom of struggle? Because you immediately found another cycle of struggle. So one ended, another cycle started. Palam ashashvatam. It is not dependable. It is not eternal. It is extremely transient. Mil bhi jata hai, so you can't rely on it. हाँ, happiness आ गई तो enjoy करो, but don't be deluded to think it is going to be lasting. Don't be foolish enough to believe that this happiness that you have got now, that because of all this effort, that happiness is going to last and you will not have to re-put the effort. And next time you put in the effort, it will be more effort. It won't be the same effort also. There'll be much more effort. That means what? It is phalam ashashvatam. And it is gati nirodhakam. It obstructs your self-evolution simply because every cycle of karma only strengthens kartritva buddhi. And you are not a karta. So a false belief, a false idea about yourself without correcting yourself, you are only strengthening a false notion of yourself. It can only obstruct further the right thinking. So he says, Kriti Maho Dadhau. Karma is a huge realm of, it's a vast ocean. It is a cause of fall. Phalam, fruit even when it comes is ashashvat, not dependable. It's fleeting, it's temporary, and it is obstructing your spiritual progress. It's obstructing your Atma, your perception of who you are. Because karta, perception that I am a karta, I am a doer, is absolutely one spectrum. And the other spectrum is that Shastra says, you are a karta. You are nityam. Your swarupam is you are a non-doer. So your perception says I am the doer. Shastra says, no. You are not the doer, you are the non-doer. You don't do. Gati Nirodhaka. Every time I say I am a karta, I have done Gati Nirodhakam for establishing in the perception that I am not a karta. And you can't just establish by replacing thought by thought. That won't work. How will that happen then? That will come in the third verse, okay, which we'll do tomorrow. And a little more we will cover up. Okay, I just wanted to bring them parallel in the same frame so that we are able to see Kartu Hu Agneya. This aspect, upper aspect is Kartuhu. Phalam comes because of that. Then Karma Kim Param. How can karma be supreme? Because karma is Jadam. The one who rolls the season must be also as intelligent a being as I am who does a karma. A pot maker is an intelligent being who makes a pot. The one who rolls the season must also be an intelligent being. That intelligent being as Ishvara, Swarupam there and the Swarupam here is the same. So we are connected. And I'll take that tomorrow. So we'll end the class here. Is that okay? If there's a question with what I said today and you want to bring it up? Yeah? Fairly. Can you end this?
Yeah. Om Sarvesham Swastirbhavatu Sarvesham Shantirbhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्ताम् न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषा। गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यम्। लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु। काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी। देशोऽयं शोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति।
Thank you, everyone.
Thank